You are now listening to the Cross-Platform Chat podcast.
Hello and welcome. This is episode 3 of Cross-Platform Chat, a podcast about video games and nerdy things. My name is Matt, joined by 2 of my best gaming buddies on the microphone. We are 3 friends with 3 distinct perspectives on games, but we are cross-platform and backwards compatible, so our door is always open to gamers of all flavors, and we welcome you to the House of Cross-Plat Chat. Our casa is su casa. Pull up a chair, stay a while. Why don't you hang out with the cool kids? Let's chop this thing up. So let me welcome my dudes, my partners in crime, my boys. Make some noise. Of course, I'm referring to Devon, otherwise known as Sonic Boom in the room. Say what's up, Devon.
Add Astra Applesauce, travelers.
Greetings. I'll just take that as a hello. And my other broham, Greg, a.k.a. Human Platinum. How you doing, brother?
Pretty good. What's going on?
Awesome. It's going to be, I think, a beefy news week. A lot of hot news topics. But I would like to start the podcast, but I can't do that unless I have some surprise topic of conversation.
Oh, no. Is it about birds? Hold on.
It's not about birds.
I'm taking over this. You tweeted a bird at me last week, and I don't appreciate that.
Did I?
Sir.
Oh, yeah. Sorry about that. Oh,
Don't you dare.
That was like a Muppet baby at first. Anyway.
No. Don't you ever dare tweet birds at me.
I didn't know you had a bird phobia, and I'm pretty sure
birds.
I didn't know that. By the way, does anyone know what? I'm sure there's a word for bird phobia. We'll find that out for next.
Oh, I'm not afraid of them. They're just
absolutely.
jerks.
It sounds like fear to me. Anyway, surprise topic of conversation, okay? For anybody who's still actually listening to the show, one episode, I threatened to rap. Last episode, we had to stop everything and have a short business meeting. I'm thinking about calling these segments Flutter Bombs to name.
Nice.
It just sounds right. Flutter Bombs, of course, is Greg's Game of the Year 2020. Beautiful game about butterflies and world destruction. Anyway, this topic, this is more of like an old man rant, so I'm really sorry to do this to you. This is like an old man yells at cloud situation.
Oh, God.
And I'm sorry, this is, like I said, you're going to have to sympathize with me on this one. I more and more find myself struggling to find a perfect word sometimes. And for whatever reason today, I spent 5 minutes in a Google search to think of the word forceps. Of course, scientific
Forceps?
which are scientific tweezers. Why did I need to find that
medical
word?
Tool?
Why did I need
big
that
boy
word?
tweezers?
Why did you need that word?
Don't worry about it. But that was my word, okay? And it,
Okay.
like I said, it's I don't like that it takes me a minute to think of things. I don't like it at all. So, speaking of scientific tweezers, guys, we're gonna need them to dissect this news. That's a hell of a segue right there.
Oh, that was killer.
Before we get into news, let's do a quick roadmap of the episode. Got, like I said, a lot of tasty news. PS5 backwards compatibility. Microsoft and GameStop had a partnership that's pretty interesting. We'll talk about that. UI reveal on the PS5. Launch lineup on the Xbox Series X and S. Topics of conversation this week. Time permitting, because God knows when we stop this podcast. It goes where it goes. We're gonna talk. Oh God, where was I on my notes here? Oh, we're gonna talk about console launches. I actually wanted to hear you guys' thoughts on A, your favorite console launches, but B, just console launch in and of itself. Is it as important as we hype it up to be sometimes? I pulled some interesting statistics and I wanted to bounce that off. You wanted to document our thoughts and feels on that topic. Of course, because we're multi-platform, we got to talk about the console wars. So, I specifically wanted to hear your guys' thoughts. What's up, Sonic Boom? Do you have a thought coming?
No, I'm just patiently waiting.
Oh, okay, sorry. Console Wars is going to talk about what we thought each console did well this generation, if we think they will continue to do that. And for God's sake, I just wanted to talk for 2 minutes, if we have time, about VR. And I know, Sonic Boom, you have strong opinions on that.
Oh, yes, very.
So, So there we go. Let's start with the newsy news, shall we?
Let's jump in. Oh man,
And it's
grab
gonna
your
be
sack lunch, kids. It's gonna be a
It's
long
gonna
one.
be kind of It's gonna be kind of Sony Pony heavy early on. We'll get to Xbox. So just hold your britches, okay? Just over a month
Hold
to
your
go
saddle.
before. I've got my saddle on, so I hope you
Hold
do
the
too.
reins.
Just over a
Giddy
month
up.
to go before the PS5 arrives, Sony has at last revealed their backwards compatibility plan for the PlayStation 5, including which PS4 games will not work on the next generation console. Sony confirmed that 10 titles will not be getting backwards compatibility support on PS5, but otherwise will be fully backwards compatible with the PS4 library. Other tidbits were announced as well. This was in a Sony post. You'll be able to use your PSVR setup. PS5 supports DualShock 4 controllers, but only for PlayStation 4 games. Platinum and Gold wireless headsets will also work on the next generation. They did speak a little bit about boost mode, although they were not that descriptive about it. They did say select PS4 titles will see increased load speeds on the PS5. Also leverage game boost, offering improved and more stable frame rates. Have HDR enhanced. Let me stop there and ask you guys: Did this surprise you at all?
It's a lot better than I expected.
Yeah,
I was really
absolutely.
braced for like, all right, we'll start off with these 50 games and they'll start trickling in. But it seems pretty complete, aside from a couple games that I guess I just couldn't work it out. I don't know. It's strange.
No, that the list of 10 is kind of interesting and amusing too. But
Yeah.
Yeah, after Jim Ryan's quote about we believe in generations, it's like, okay, so backwards compatibility is not a focus. And it clearly is, because all those games are going to be playable. It's just,
Yeah, right.
Why did it take them so long to even like bring it up?
announce. I had the same thought too, and it's like I totally am with you that I thought the whole conversation, or rather like the marketing point of generations matter to us thing. I don't like looking back now. I kind of don't even know why you would say it in some ways. I don't, other than maybe easing the blow of you can only use PS5 controller on PS5 games, or certain things that are kind of weird, like the PSVR needs a little, I don't know, specific dongle or whatever. So we'll have to send in for the dongle unless it comes packed in the PS5. I don't know.
Well, the Kinect needed a dongle when you got
is that right?
Xbox.
Yeah.
So yeah, the wording was, I don't know, clumsy. That might be a little too strong, but it was weird. It was odd, but I mean, the fact that it's getting backwards compatibility is great. So
yeah, and the this was also interesting because like all week, I think they actually announced this story like last weekend, so we're kind of been resonating on this for like a week.
It was like literally after we posted. So
yeah, right. That's right. And then like I feel like every story that was announcing was like 10 games won't work. I'm like, is that really the story? I'm just excited that we're not only getting backwards compatibility, but everything other than these 10 games will work, which is what. I don't know how many games in total have launched for the PS4, but they always say this over 4,000 number. I don't know exactly how that breaks down. I was looking on like Wikipedia and kind of scouring to find the exact number, and the closest I could find was around 35. Anyway, it's interesting to me that Sony kind of underplayed this. I feel like a little bit, but of the 10 games that don't work, I think only 3 of them are also on Xbox as well. So most of them are PS4 only, and most of them are garbage fires. I'll just like to.
Yeah, the only one of the note that stood out to me was Shadow Complex.
Totally, yeah. Shadow Complex Remastered. And I think even some developers have spoke up and said we would like to, or that we can possibly. I don't know if it was Shadow Complex Remastered, but yeah, for whatever reason, we will not be singing on PS5. We Sing will not come to the PS5.
Oh, it's just a peripheral thing.
Yeah, that probably is. I don't know anything about We
Sing. Because isn't that a USB mic? I don't know.
No, I think those might be the one that use an app, and that's interesting because they said companion apps will not work. So I bet that is connected.
Ooh,
yeah.
That's a good thought.
They didn't need to say anything until they were ready. I mean, they're the market leader, so they're probably just doing their own thing and ignoring what the competition's doing. So
Yeah, and go ahead. Sorry.
I'd say it looks weird and it feels like, cumbersome and late, but they probably have a roadmap internally of this is where we're going to announce this, and they're just sticking to whatever that is because it gave them a talking point this week after Microsoft had 2 or 3 solid weeks.
Yeah, so, Xbox was on a roll there, so
so
match beat for beat a little bit.
Yeah,
they must have been really getting it together though, kind of last minute, because like going back to Cerny's talk that was supposed to be GDC, he was like, "Oh, like the top 100 will work," and then it was like, "Oh no, like
that
a few hundred will work, and then they'll start rolling out," and so it's like, I don't know. And then, it seems like they just didn't want to overpromise.
And then Ryan's like, didn't he have an interview with the Washington Post or some major outlet saying, "Yeah, the overwhelming majority on day one."
Yeah. Like as time kept progressing, they kept saying like, "No, more will work."
You guys are in the same company, right? Have you talked to one another? I want to hash that out. The other cool thing, actually, that this little point was encouraging too. When it comes to games you've downloaded on your PS4 and your save data, you can transfer all of that to your PS5 over Wi-Fi or over Ethernet. You'll also be able to play PS4 games directly from a supported external storage drive. The saving thing specifically, because the early trickle was like, okay, what's going on? I mean, we talked about it a little bit here and there last week. I was kind of suspecting that it was, I don't know, an engine issue between PS4 and PS5 or specific games like Spider-Man, for example, the remaster kind of, I was kind of thinking, okay, worst case scenario, this is going to be like games that were somehow optimized or enhanced for PS5 that didn't talk well with the PS4. I have no idea, but that was encouraging, at least. So
the whole Spider-Man thing, that
for sure,
that was clumsy, and it feel like they should announce that part of it after
that's
compatibility.
That's a really good point.
Because if you heard those in reverse, it would have been a lot less of a blow for Spider-Man fans.
No, that's a good point. That's a really good point.
Yeah, it really was more about what it was saying about the system as a whole more than just Spider-Man. I felt like, but they got everyone worried.
Yeah, these things take time to come together, like you guys were saying that. They probably couldn't announce it because they weren't sure. The fact that games even launch, let alone launch on new generation hardware, is a miracle. So,
and they did kind of add that caveat. They're like, by the way, if you play something that seems a little weird, just
just let us know.
That might happen. Report us the bug. And we'll,
totally unrelated. If it breaks, just send us an email.
Yeah. It actually, that reminds me, I was actually talking to Greg a little bit this week, and I was like, for some reason, I just have, and I don't know if it's just because Microsoft has seemingly been so confident. I mean, they have been really confident shipping out their box and saying throw anything at it, and it's been really good reception. For some reason, I just have this expectation that backwards compatibility, just in terms of the current generation, is going to work better on Xbox. I just have that assumption, but I don't know. I kind of go, what are your thoughts on that? Spit it to me.
Well, it's going to inherently work the same as it did on the Xbox One X and One S and all that, where you put the disc in, it just works, or you download it and it just works. But this time around, it'll get a boost for performance, whether it's load times, frame rates, assets, you name it. So Xbox community will be kind of used to it already if you've been playing backwards compatibility games, either from the Game Pass or games with gold.
I'm going to be really interested to see how these consoles do backwards compatibility, just in terms of performance. I can't remember who I was reading from some developer that was actually talking about in terms of like performance. I think he was talking specifically about frame rate, but he's like, that really has to do more with the game than the machine in most cases. Like if the game has an unlocked frame rate or scaling resolution, like that, it has a lot to do with the title, but I don't know. We'll see. All I really want is
remember when Dark Souls was having, or was it Dark Souls? Yeah, it was having issues on PC because people were unlocking the frames.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, right.
Yeah. You had to like turn off like the enhancements anytime you went up a ladder and you just like fly through the air. So it was a mess.
Or combat, your weapon would degrade twice as quick because you're at 60 frames.
Yeah.
Which, from what I hear, is a
frame rate for sure. That's so
from what I hear, that's a lazy way to develop a game. I can't quote on to why that is because I'm not a developer. But
Matter of fact, I didn't have this in the news, but there's a guy, I think his name is Lance McDonald, that does a lot of tinkering around and thing. I think he did actually Dark Souls, and he was working on Bloodborne. He's been working on like a patch for Bloodborne to make it 60 frames, and he was talking about that specific thing you were referencing, actually, that he would like used a lot of the code from Dark Souls 5 to kind of like reverse engineer Bloodborne, and he found out that when you just crank it up to 60 frames, it like inadvertently breaks all these other things that you wouldn't even think about, but that he's been patching.
Did you just say Dark Souls 5?
Did I say Dark Souls 5?
Yeah, that's
an unannounced.
What? Hold on, are we breaking news already?
We are breaking news. That's my next
is.
tinfoil hat prediction. They're skipping Dark Souls 4 and going straight to 5, 4. And then it'll be exclusive on PS5. Dark Souls 5.
Yeah.
Wow.
All right, let's move on, shall we? Sony has officially unveiled the PlayStation 5 user interface. In an official PlayStation blog post, Sony just today, in fact, October 15th, revealed a walkthrough of the user experience, including features that they are calling Control Center activity cards and some other new share features. Did you guys take a look at the video? They dropped like an 11-minute video walkthrough. I think Sid Schumann was kind of walking through the UI of the PS5.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty cool. It's very slick looking. I like the look they're going for. I have some doubts about how long some of these things will be supported.
Oh, interesting.
But like just the cards that are like, here's all the objectives you have to do to finish this thing. It'll take this many minutes, and you click here to see a guide on how to do it. I'm like, I just don't see in 5 years every
people
game
using
doing
that.
that.
Go ahead, sorry.
I say it feels familiar because there's something similar that Xbox does, where if you look for achievements, you can go to trueachievement.com and find the write-ups from that forum. It's not as an elegant solution as what PS5's doing, but it's kind of in the background. But something similar that Xbox does is achievement tracking. So if you have an objective for achievement, it's like do something, 100 of something. Developers can code it to where you can see the progress of that, and not many people take advantage of that. So
I get excited every time I see a game that has that. I'm like, yes, awesome.
Yeah. My knee jacks was, oh cool, we have this cool new feature with the cards, which looks slick, but it's like, are we going to see this in 6 months from anyone but Sony?
Yeah, I thought of that too. I did think that like Sackboy is a very specific, pretty simple example of how that could work feasibly well. When you get to other games, I was just kind of flipping through Twitter and just seeing people's responses and reactions to it. Some people were saying like, I kind of like not knowing in a game. Maybe a game like, I don't know, like Demon Souls, even when
Demon Souls 5.
Demon Souls 5, for example, the unannounced sequel to Demon Souls. But you kind of don't. You want to have like this element of not knowing, like this element of unknown or immersion. I suppose.
I imagine hidden trophies won't track like that or anything, though.
Good point.
Maybe you'll just see a progress bar
or opt into it or something
on a hidden one.
That's a good point. I think a lot of times, like these things, I'm sure they've thought about a lot of these pretty well. And my understanding, and correct me if I'm wrong on this, is the activity cards thing is pretty like editable by the user, as in you could pin certain ones or not.
I think so.
So like it's pretty a la carte as in terms of like what you want to see and what you don't. I kind of think it's cool, and I'll be interested to see where it goes. Like the walkthrough things was kind of interesting. Again, who knows if they use it or if it's going to be gone in a year, like one of those so many launch features that just dissolve and you kind of forget they even existed,
I laughed at him snapping videos like a launch Xbox One.
Oh man, that just brought me back. It's like, you PS5 ponies don't understand how great it is to play a game and watch something off of Hulu or Netflix in the corner at the same time. Like, oh, was it a splendid time?
Watch Star Trek and order tickets. At the same time. Yeah.
But yeah, to go back to the cards for the objective scene, like it's that's got to be focused towards like kids, like the whole Sock Boy preview.
Sack
Like that's
boy, get it right.
Sack Boy, sock puppet
Jeez.
guy. It's just a great demonstration for like kids because, like, if my kid's playing, he gets stuck on something, he can just pull up the video and go play.
Absolutely.
Like, I don't think they're going to put that in for say Dark Souls 5 or whatever.
Dark Souls 5 is catching traction, baby.
I know.
We're starting a rumor right here.
Get it trending on Google.
Yeah. But yeah, no, I think it was a smart demonstration of it. It looked sharp.
I really liked the control center thing at the bottom because it looked just like a task manager or something, or command prompt. You'd see it like at the bottom on a PC, that you bring it up, you press your PlayStation button, and it's in game. You don't have to like jump screens or anything, and you can have access to a bunch of features on your console.
Mhm.
I think that's slick.
Did you notice when he was talking about, he kept saying tasks, and unless I missed it, he did not say the word trophies once in related to that.
No, he didn't actually.
It's really strange. Like, I assumed that was like, oh, this is how you track your trophies, but he just kept saying challenges.
Unless they're going to
stuff.
overhaul trophies, because we haven't had confirmation that
They
trophies are on the
just
PS5,
overhauled
right?
trophies.
Yeah, they
Damn
just
it.
did.
Well, yeah, for the PS4, which I'm at like 140,
You're at 140 big ones.
100,000 or something.
What are you at, Greg?
Stand by. Keep going.
Yeah, as I asked you that, I'm like pulling up the PlayStation app.
I'm not as familiar.
Oh,
with
come
this
on. Really? Am I the
minute-
only one that knows? Mr. Xbox
I saw it
over
and
here?
I was like, what is this?
Sorry,
But
I'm
yeah.
at 319.
Nice. Another thing
Nice.
that was, I don't know if this is confirmed, but people were saying that they didn't say anything about themes.
Yep.
No, they didn't say anything about themes. And that makes me
So-
wonder, like, how integrated into the game the UI it seems to be. I don't know. That's one of those things we'll probably find out on launch day. Or
That
close
4K
to.
UI too. That got confirmed.
To be 100% honest with you, I don't know why that's a big deal.
Oh, because it is. Because now that PlayStation has a 4K UI and Xbox
Oh,
It
Series
is 4K on
X.
PS4 Pro,
you're
wasn't
doing
it?
your little brother thing. I think when you were suspending a game to go into the menu, like it would turn off HDR, for example. I think it
Yes.
did descale
Yeah.
to 1080.
Yeah,
I think.
HDR for sure.
But like people were talking about that on Twitter today, like 4K 1080p. I was like, really? Does it really matter that much? I mean,
No,
of course, I'd rather have 4K than not, but it's like,
Yeah,
come on.
I would say play on Xbox. The menu's 1080, and now then when I turn on my PS4, I'm like, oh, this is crisp looking.
Yeah.
For sure.
it's almost unnoticeable. I mean, it's the 1% that would even notice or even care. It's internet has been so toxic lately. It's just like, dude, gaming's great. Just enjoy it for 2 seconds.
It is not a deal breaker in any sense.
But some people will try to make you believe it is.
It'll be 4K, but only 30 frames on PS5.
Oh man,
That's a self-inflicted joke. Sonic Boom, you're supposed to
Yes.
laugh. when you make fun.
no, you're hurting yourself. Oh no, it hurt itself.
All right, circle back. I have
Yeah.
level 479.
Nope.
Damn.
Yeah, which
That-
just
I
makes
would've
me want to
almost
get to
guessed
500.
All that does is, tickle the
Makes-
freaking.
Makes me want to get a gold trophy next to my name instead of this dirty silver one.
Yeah, right. Gee, one last thing on the PS5 UI thing, and then I promise we'll move on. That they did show the suspend resume type feature. He flipped from Sackboy to Destruction All Stars, which was pretty damn quick. Although people were quick to point out, for example, like, does that mean you can only do one game suspended switch between 2 games at one point? Or is it going to be like Xbox, which has already been shown that you could do multiple games? I don't even know what the cap is on the series is, but I know that they can suspend multiple games at one point.
I don't know either. I've
heard
some
a lot of
say-
people say different numbers.
Yeah, I've heard 6. I've
Same,
heard
dude.
4. I've heard 5. But what was confirmed is quick resume persists even through cold restart.
Yeah,
which would make
that's
which makes
really
sense
big.
because you're not resuming a game that's running in the background. It's like a save state that you're loading.
Right.
So
Mhm.
it makes
Yeah,
sense.
that's great for power
yeah,
outages.
that's
and
amazing.
stuff.
Yeah.
Do you see do you see yourselves using that feature that much?
Oh,
Absolutely.
constantly. Yeah.
I have been like thinking back and forth on this. I think I'm just not acclimated to it because it's not in my hands yet. But I was thinking about it more, and I'm like, yeah, of course I would use that.
Yeah, because look
Of
at it
course
this
I would
way.
use that.
You're playing your main game. You're playing your Valhalla, your Call of Duty, your Cyberpunk, and then it's Tuesday, and you get the refresh on Game Pass quests. You're like, oh, I gotta go play Final Fantasy VII and win 10 battles. Okay, let me load that up, play that, get my 10 battles done, go back to Cyberpunk. It's
Mhm.
just like boom, boom.
Yeah.
So I think it'll
Like right now, like I'm, mostly just playing exclusives on PlayStation, and so like through all of Last of Us and all of Ghost of Tsushima, like I've seen that menu once because I just constantly suspend it.
No,
Like,
seriously,
and
true,
just keep it going.
true. That is true, and that feature has been to me really cool on PS4 to just rest your console. Granted,
Oh
it's
yeah.
not nearly as robust as it will be in this next generation, but I
Yeah,
think that's
yeah.
pretty cool. You can just fire up your console and there it is. That is
Mhm.
pretty dope. Like that early proof of concept of that idea was cool. Alrighty, next news topic. This one surprised me, I must admit. GameStop and Microsoft have entered into a multi-year agreement that gives the video game retailer a cut of every digital purchase made on any Xbox console it directly sells going forward. The new revenue sharing deal is said to give GameStop a percentage of any digital sales made of those Xbox consoles, including digital downloads of full games, DLC, in-game microtransactions, and any subscriptions, which would seem to include things like Game Pass, Xbox Game Pass. Man, this was like left field, but I thought it was like, I don't know, man. Microsoft has been doing a lot of things that just are gamer focused and like again, it kind of plays well to me from like good cop bad cop perspective. Obviously, like it's no secret GameStop has been in like steep decline for
Yeah.
the last year, making news in all the worst ways, but they have, I think I read, they have over 5,000 GameStop retail stores worldwide out there in the wilds. So, I mean, that's a good bit of retail presence still.
Mhm.
So I don't know. Thoughts, feelings.
it's like you said, it's out of left field. Like no one heard about this. It just happened. And here in the US, it's not so much in other regions. Like GameStop's huge. It sells a lot of Xboxes because Xbox sells in the US. So for them, it's beneficial to, you know, have a strategic alliance with one of their top, you know, store retailers
Sure.
because, their POS is going to get switched over to Microsoft server stuff. The associates or team members or whatever they call them, they're going to have, tablets like you see on the NFL because they got
Oh,
Microsoft
sweet.
tablets.
So they can go and do an instant replay on like a bad
Yeah.
trade-in price.
Yeah.
You just got 30 cents.
Here's what you did wrong. But yeah, and then what kind of like got hashed out later on is the fact that they're gonna the downstream or anything they sell that's Microsoft related that's a digital purchase, whether it's like the all access for Xbox or I'm assuming Game Pass, they'll get a cut of that. So
It's very. It seems like very generous of my because they definitely
Yes.
don't have to do that. It kind of reminds me a lot when comic books like started being more and more digital. The main company that does them, Comixology, they set up a program where any comic book store could have their own storefront on there,
Mm-hmm.
and they could direct people to it. And any comics bought through that storefront, like they kick back like 5% or something to that comic book store. And it's like, you didn't need to do that, but I guess
Yeah.
it's nice.
And I totally hear where you're coming from there. And it's kind of like, I don't know if this was a business decision as much as it was, I don't know. I don't want to call it like reputation per se, but like it's kind of like a shout out to the preservation of games as they've been sold and kind of a preservation of some degree of, I don't know, convention of video games, and GameStop has just been such a prominent retailer throughout previous generations. So I don't know. They didn't say, like, for example, the specific percentage that will be delegated to GameStop, but I was also surprised, like, it's not just consoles, it's digital downloads, DLC, microtransactions, Game Pass. I mean, geez, that's your sacred cow right there.
Honestly, I think it's just they have so much FU money. They're like, what can we spend this on that may serve as a benefit to us in the long run? Because GameStop's been hemorrhaging talent and stores for the last several years. Like this last year, even prior to COVID, you heard like, oh, GameStop's closing X amount of stores or shut down their presence in this specific region, like, across the pond. And so I don't think some bean counter, they crunched the numbers and said, yeah, sure, someone passed on this, so it's got to be something somewhere they're going to get their money back. If not, it's like the Zune. Let's just throw money at it and see what happens.
I mean, GameStop is so like incentive driven. Like, I wonder if this gets to the point where they're like, hey, you as an employee are going to get more rewards for selling an Xbox now. Which
I don't, man.
It kind of gets weird for sure.
As much as I don't like GameStop for many reasons, I hope it doesn't turn to that, because that would just look ugly.
Yeah, for sure.
I think that would come back on Xbox. I don't think that's going to be Microsoft's.
Yeah,
I don't think it's their MO, but
at the very least, I think it'll make them not like be biased against the One or the Series S being digital, and they'll be like, well, we'll carry them both because we get something either way.
Yeah,
it's interesting too. Like, oh man, this is like tinfoil hat town, but like, as these companies have been announcing their digital variants of their consoles, I've been kind of wondering about eventually how this will affect business partners. At first I kind of thought that that's sort of why we had not really seen to any significant degree the amount of pre-orders on the digital variants of these things, because they were being sold by retail partners, and I don't know if that necessarily has any.
Yeah, anyway, if they could choose, they'd probably want to sell all the ones with the discs.
Totally.
I still remember buying a PSP Go at GameStop, and they're like, "You want anything else?" I'm like, "No, there's nothing that you got that I need right now." And I kind of felt bad. I was like, "Oh, I'm like, I don't need you now."
Maybe I'll buy a pack of gum.
Yeah.
I don't know why I'm wondering about this, but have you guys ever had a situation or like an experience at GameStop or really in a game store where somebody was like strongly discouraging you from buying something that you're buying?
No, it's usually the opposite. Like, oh, you're buying that? Here, get the warranty, get this magazine.
Yeah, right.
Oh, this Amiibo's coming out. You want to pre-order that? Oh, hey, this game's coming out in 9 months. You want to pre-order that?
I don't know.
I'm trying to think. I think when I bought Too Human, the guy was like, "You sure? It's not looking good." I'm like, "Yeah, I think so."
He gave you a wink and a nod.
Yeah, he was like, "Okay."
I wanted to live.
He was right. Let me tell you, he was right.
Yeah, but there was something there. It was ahead of its time. There was
there was something there.
You
a lot of it was watching the 10-minute long death scene of a Valkyrie coming and pulling you up.
Dennis
every
Dyack
single
sold
time.
you on that death scene.
Yeah,
it's like, you know why this death scene is important? Let me tell you why.
You guys want to start a rumor about a sequel? Way Too Human, confirmed.
Man. Way Too Human.
That was supposed to be a trilogy, wasn't it?
Yeah, or a series at the very least.
Yeah.
What would the third installment be called? I just wonder to myself.
3 Human.
Oh, there you go.
Don't be an idiot.
Trace Human. Humanis.
Thrice Human.
I was in GameStop once ripping on the N-Gage, and I almost got thrown out of the store. It was really bizarre. Like that.
Why
Somebody
would
just
you do
came in.
that?
I started talking about the N-Gage, and I'm just ripping on this thing. And then, like, the manager turned to me. He's like, "No one talks bad about the N-Gage in my store." I was like,
Oh,
"Whoa,
Matt. Why
So
you
they're
gotta be
trying
ugly?
to sell it to someone and you ruined their sale or something.
man!" No, I mean, I wasn't like sabotaging a sale. I was just sorry. Hot takes, guys. I'm sorry. Can't
You
handle
must
my
have
hot
been
takes.
a big N-Gage believer.
Yeah,
Man,
he
sometimes I
made a
wonder
call
about
without
you.
an N-Gage. I'm sorry. What does that mean? I wasn't like. Here's the thing. I wasn't at like point of sale, just dogging on this thing. I was just my brother was there, and we were just talking about games. Man, it's a game store. Loosen up.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Was there a time that anyone was positive on the N-Gage?
I was just about to say it's not like I wasn't exactly off the grid with that.
I feel like
with
I
that
saw
perspective.
my friends and I all saw the first ads for it. We're like, this seems terrible.
Hey, you got to play Tony Hawk and Madden
This
on
is
the go.
awful. Tony Hawk was Tony Hawk was on the N-Gage. So was Sonic.
There was a Metal Gear, wasn't there?
Oh my god. Was there really?
I am fairly sure there's a Metal Gear.
Holy crap. Okay, I'm going to look this up while you guys talk about the N-Gage and
I know,
what you
I
guys
feel
got
like
at
there was a
launch for the
Tomb
N-Gage.
Raider.
Yeah, there was a Tomb Raider. I know there was a Sonic. There was a oh god, what was the other one? Anyway, I'm gonna look this up. Hold
Yeah,
on.
I mean,
Yeah,
you can,
Metal Gear Solid Mobile for the N-Gage.
Oh my god, it was.
I think
Okay.
our direct presence is like increasing the sales because like $1,300 right now for an N-Gage and 14 games. Like that is skyrocketed. Last I saw it was like
Wow.
150. Oh, what happened?
We should get a cut of this.
I wonder if there's an emulation scene for the N-Gage.
I'm looking at screenshots. They look delightful for Metal Gear Solid Mobile. I was thinking of Metal Gear Touch. Metal Gear Touch was dope too. Okay, let me move on to the next news item. Unless you had more to say on the
Splinter
N-Gage.
Cell. Oh man,
Splinter Cell.
N-Gage has more Splinter Cell on it than the current gen. Let that put that in your ear hole. Think about it. Chew on it. Hold it close to your heart and get hurt.
Are you guys big into Splinter Cell?
I am not really, but I would love to see it come back. I mean, I played it on the Xbox, and I mean, I'm a Metal Gear Solid guy, so I never
Yeah, it
really
seems up your
got
alley.
super into it, but I always appreciated, tactical espionage. It was definitely Xbox's answer to it. I thought technically it was awesome. I'd love to see it come back. I really would. Really would. How about you, Devon? Sonic Boom?
I say Syphon Filter is my jam. So
Really?
no,
Sony
God, no.
franchise.
Okay, God, I never know when you're serious.
I like the idea of Splinter Cell. I just
Siphon
never
Filter. Sorry.
I just never got into it.
Yeah,
You know?
I've
Really?
never really played one. I've aside from messing around here and there a couple minutes, but
It's like
like to get
Skate
into
4. Just make another one so all these people on the internet can just shut up. I'm
Shut up.
so tired of hearing about it. Oh my god, just make another one.
That and Half-Life.
No,
Crazy
that
guy.
can go die in a dumpster.
But
Did
yes,
anyone read that Half-Life 3 stuff that came out a year ago?
I sure did not.
Some ex-developers like, oh, now that my
the story.
my 10-year NDA's up, here's what Half-Life 3 might have been.
No way. Seriously?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
man, that'd be an interesting read. No, I hadn't even heard about that. Crazy. Well, all I know is Syphon Filter is the N-Gage of tactical espionage. And that is the name of today's episode.
I was gonna say I'm writing this down. Stop.
Okay, now I will move on to the next news item. Oh god, hold on. I had one fluttering thought. Am I imagining this, or did Reggie from Nintendo, now he works for GameStop, does he not?
He's on the board. Yeah.
Maybe that had something to do with it. It's the Reggie effect, boys. The Reggie effect. Think about it. Or not.
I don't see Nintendo sharing digital profits with them. That's for
Word. Speaking of Microsoft, announced this week there will be 30 titles optimized and available on day one for both Xbox Series X and Series S, 20 of which will be smart delivery and are upgraded automatically, and thousands of backwards compatible titles across 4 generations. Notable also that Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War will launch November 13. Destiny 2 Beyond Light launching November 10th and optimized for Series X and Series S on December 8th. Xbox console launch exclusive The Medium will launch on December 10th, moved out of launch day and date. That was going to be a launch day game, right? And then they...
No, it was,
Or was
never,
it
never confirmed. It was highly suggested.
referenced.
Yeah,
Okay.
they said launch-ish, so launch window. You know,
Oh, did they?
anything
Okay.
anything in this calendar year, I'll consider launch window on both systems. Unless it's PS5, then no.
Demon's Souls 5 is coming out later in the year.
2020 confirmed.
Well, I just wish Flight Simulator would fly into launch window. See what
Man, I'm still holding on to that. that's going to be the last minute surprise.
Tinfoil hat.
Just here's I feel like I saw someone point out that one of the devs said it was first quarter next year.
That'd be good. That'd be dope.
Yeah, a lot of great games that are enhanced. This isn't just games that'll work.
List.
But these are enhanced games that were either new or going to have some kind of purposeful upgrade. Whereas things like Doom, that game is just inherently looking great and working great on the Xbox Series X, and that's not enhanced. Like, you don't see that on this list because they haven't gone back and done that update.
It's supposed to get a next gen version, I believe, though. Probably just not launch day.
Can we talk about Doomy Doom for a second? Because I swear to God, they had been saying free upgrade to an optimized version of next gen, and then I feel like I haven't heard anything about it since. And ever since this acquisition, I feel like they've said nothing, which really makes me wonder. Like, are they going to do something like PlayStation won't get an optimized or an enhanced edition, and Xbox will? Seriously, it's in the back of my mind.
Are you talking about Wolfenstein, or are you talking about Doom?
Doom Eternal, dude. Doom Eternal.
Oh,
I swear
last
they
I'm
announced.
Seeing is August 8th or August 6th. They said Doom Eternal and Elder Scrolls Online will have free next gen upgrades.
Yeah, right. Which is why
it's coming.
So maybe it's just not. Yeah, maybe it's just not launch day.
Yeah.
Well, they need to detail that pronto.
It'll be like Cyberpunk. We'll get a next gen version of that eventually, but
yeah.
Oh yeah, that was the last little bit here. Cyberpunk 2077 launches on November 19th. Will look and play best on next gen consoles, they say. Fire emoji, because fire. It's. I had a whole joke written there and I forgot it.
Keep going. Yeah, you wordsmith that.
No.
You keep thinking about. We'll talk about Dirt 5.
I was gonna say something about the launch of Cyberpunk. Everyone's excited. Fire emoji, and it's a flex, not because the Series X is on fire overheating. That wouldn't have been a good joke.
You got all the pieces there.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't put it together.
You go to the Chuckle Hut. You go on there late night and you work your jokes. And
see, this is why I don't do freestyle rapping on the podcast, guys. That's my eventual goal of this podcast is that I can freestyle rap. It's going to be amazing. Please be excited.
You're more than welcome to try.
Oh, I'm enthralled.
I'm not ready yet. Clearly, I'm not, but I will be someday. Let's move on with the news, shall we? Speaking of overheating, amid rumors about this Xbox Series X overheating, an article released by VentureBeat written by Jeff Grubb conducted tests which concluded that the Xbox Series X consistently runs at a lower temperature than both the Xbox One X and the PlayStation 4 Pro. Not a shocker since the PS4 Pro. Here's another joke attempt, but I can't.
Oh no! Come on, you can't even. Oh
God, that was gonna be
brother.
A good one too. Oh, I just spoiled the whole thing. Okay, I'm just gonna read it. Let's just rewind 5 seconds.
Okay.
Not a shocker since the PS4 Pro was almost used as a primary shuttle engine for SpaceX, but later it was just made into a gaming console because it was too loud for the astronauts. And that's my joke.
Oh man!
I gotta say it, Jesus Christ. Oh my!
Let me tell you, I've been playing a lot of Ghost of Tsushima this week, and my goodness, it has just gotten louder and louder as time has progressed.
Dude, Tsushima really pushes that thing.
Oh my goodness! There's the kind of last area in the game is doing some different things graphically, and let me tell you, you can hear it.
I was actually just listening to a podcast today that a guy was talking about. He had talked to some developers, I think it was from Sony Santa Monica, and they were saying like one of the reasons that the PS4 Pro just is loud as hell is because of the GPU, and specifically, I guess they can't. Oh, what was it? they can't like parse out tasks with the GPU for some reason. So they have to like the whole thing has to run like 100% for some reason for certain games to run. I don't know. Crazy. Crazy. Last news story: Cyberpunk will also launch on the Stadia. Okay, we're done with the news.
What? Wow, you skipped over
I figured
that.
I'd just throw that in because no one cares about Stadia. Oh, actually,
Wow.
while we're on the topic of Cyberpunk, we haven't really talked about Cyberpunk a whole lot, even though, I mean, we've talked about it here and there in the news throughout the ages of this podcast. But is everyone playing Cyberpunk when it releases, day and date?
Yes.
Yes, maybe we'll see. I mean, I'll be knee deep in Call of Duty and Destiny and Valhalla and Dirt 5, and so yeah, I'd like to, but like we were exchanging notes, maybe by then I'll just want to wait for the optimized version. So
I'm
but-
in that problem. I'm in that predicament too. I
So-
mean, I'm really looking forward to it. For some reason, I have a feeling that current gen is gonna have some performance problems with this game, but I don't know. It will still be okay. It will still run better on Series X and PS5, I would assume.
Yeah,
But
like
it-
I think if you're playing on a current gen consoles, absolutely. But I think any of the running issues will be smoothed out on new consoles for sure.
And then obviously still they will eventually still have the optimized, quote unquote, optimized next gen versions of that. CD Projekt Red, man, I was so happy to hear that they were doing the same thing with Witcher 3 because
Yeah.
Witcher 3 I'm kind of like in that position where I'm like happy that I never finished it because all these games are getting optimization. Not all these games, but some games I really, really want to play through. Witcher 3 being one of them is going to be like my first experience will be on PS5. That's exciting.
Yeah.
Exciting times. But Cyberpunk, yeah, I'm still haven't decided if I'm gonna wait or if I'm gonna play it. I don't know. Something tells me after PS5 drops, I'll maybe too excited with other things to. I don't know. Maybe I can.
You'll have all that sweet Sackboy cards to get through. You're not gonna have time.
Damn right. My activity cards. Actually,
Collecting like your Pokemons.
that's the beauty of trophies and achievements, man. Scratches
I
that
gotta
itch.
say, that little bit of Sackboy they showed today and that UI stuff, like, kind of got me more into that game
Dude.
than any of the trailers have.
See, I completely agree. I don't know when it happened. I think they released like a trailer about a week or two ago, just like a story trailer, and I was this whole time I hadn't been like it hadn't even been on my radar, not interested. And then suddenly I'm like, wow, this looks actually pretty dope. Now I pre-ordered it and I'm getting it. So
Nice.
Oh
I
no, he's
Life
got
of a-
Stockholm
no Stephen
syndrome.
Fry though. Like
I do.
he's not narrating the trailer, and I'm like, oh, this doesn't feel right.
Oh no, first Peter Parker, now it's Sackboy. Oh brother.
One.
Oh, Sackgate.
I actually think it looks really cool. I do.
Yeah.
What are you getting at launch for PS5, Greg? By the way.
Definitely Demon Souls and Spider-Man. I'll probably go ahead and get the deluxe version that comes with Spider-Man remastered as
Yeah,
well.
me too.
As well. I mean, I don't
I'm
know
not
why that's
around
not just
them.
included.
$20.
Just
I mean,
include it.
Yeah.
You know,
That's a whole other story. Yeah, I looking at Sackboy though for sure. It seems like something my daughter would want to play with me.
Totally.
so yeah, you and the kiddos.
Yeah, I'm definitely getting those three. I'm pretty sure I'm gonna get Dirt 5. By the way, can I talk for 2 seconds about Dirt 5? What were you
Ooh,
gonna say?
please.
I
I
would
was
like
gonna-
to talk about Dirk.
I was going to
5.
bring that up while you were wordsmithing your joke, but you
Take it
persisted.
away. Tell me what you want to say about the Dirt 5s.
It looks great. We saw that in-game footage by Digital Foundry, and oh man, is
Yeah.
it looking good on all three
Yeah.
different performance types too. So for
Yeah,
Xbox specifically, let's make that caveat that did a review Digital Foundry.
yeah.
Yeah.
That was for the Series X.
I did
I
not
agree.
realize that it was a lot of the X Evolution Studios people doing.
Yeah,
stuff.
I didn't either. Actually, I
Yeah.
did not either, and that totally caught my eye. I wanted it for sure, but when I heard that, I was like, oh damn, I'm all
So yeah,
in.
because you're a big Project Cars guy, right? Or does it Drive Club? Which one was the
Drive
Drive Club?
Club.
Yeah, thank you. Sorry,
You're banned.
come on, man.
You're banned.
You're banned. I'm all high on pizza. I've been on keto the last 4 weeks, and I had a piece of pizza today.
We have to talk about the pizza bet also.
Pizza bet. Oh yes, thank you.
I finally got Devon a pizza. We'll talk on that, but let me just say one thing about Evolution Studios. They did MotorStorm, which I thought was a criminally overlooked series on the PS3. I wish that no one bought the damn thing, but I wish they had it for PS4. I loved MotorStorm 1.
It looked great.
It
ran great. It was fun as heck.
So cool.
Yeah.
I have Onrush. Admittedly, I haven't played it yet, but even MotorStorm RC on the Vita is such a dope game. It's so cool. Those guys are.
I like that game. You want to hear a funny story? As I played MotorStorm Apocalypse in 3D on my little Sony PlayStation branded 3D TV.
Damn.
Oh, you had one of those?
Yeah, I had one
of those. Oh my god, how good was that?
Yeah.
How good was that TV?
It was very good for its price. It was like $199.
Yeah, one Black Friday they were knocking them down big time, and I was so
it was
sad
a great. That was
let's tell those listeners, because a lot of people don't know this thing even exists. So let's tell them about how great this TV was.
Yeah, so it was 1080p. It was probably 22 inches, maybe.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Somewhere around there. Really nice display on it though. And it had 3D, and it had, I don't think I ever used it, but it had that thing where you could have 2-player and have your glasses each synced, and each of you would see a different thing on that TV.
What a crazy idea, man.
Yeah,
and one person could be playing games and the other person could be doing something else, right?
Yeah.
Watching Netflix or something.
So crazy.
And it was a good TV. It just very recently I had let a friend borrow it, and I got it back, and I was gonna let my son use it in his room, and it died, and I was like, oh no.
Damn.
Yeah, I've got an old 3D TV that's sitting in my bedroom now that I've got mounted. The back panel's starting to die, so there's these black bands in it. But you watch the Hobbits in 3D. I played Gears of War in 3D. I did some PlayStation stuff in 3D, and it's just it's a niche thing. It looks good.
Yeah.
I feel like it's like the N-Gage. It was ahead of its time.
Yeah. I feel like I can get my fill of any 3D on 3DS stuff and be like, okay.
Yeah. This is actually an interesting topic too, because it kind of dovetails into another topic of conversation I was going to bring up. But real quick on 3D, I had a 3D television, and it had the active glasses. So what you're describing, you had to turn them on, and they would literally refresh. I forget how it worked exactly, but they would flicker active lenses so that you would see the 3D effect. There were some games, it was always kind of a pain in the ass to optimize it, and I found and calibrating all this, because I found it to be really, I don't know, kind of a chore to get it working. It have to your viewing angle kind of had to be specific.
That was a problem with those passive glasses, is they were expensive, they were hard to calibrate, whereas the passive ones, you could just grab a pair of glasses from the theater. I've got my Hobbit theater glasses from when I went and saw it in 3D, and I used to use that when I was playing Gears in 3D.
Yeah, I always thought that was a really cool idea, and we weren't ready for it, and it was really expensive. But
no, we didn't deserve that.
While we're on the topic of 3D and experimental technologies, I didn't think this was going to be a topic of conversation we get to, but real quick, because I don't know how much I did say. VR. This reminds me of VR in some ways, just in terms of its early technology. Mostly, I would say VR is clearly beyond a proof of concept stage, but it's pretty established. It's pretty established, I think, and the current generation, it's kind of easy to forget that VR is a thing sometimes, at least for me. It's not something I do every day, but every time I do it, I definitely wonder why I don't do it more. But just VR generally, what do you guys think about VR, and have you used it? Do you use it?
No, I think it's hobby grade trash. It's expensive, it's cumbersome, it's confusing. There's some hobbyist enthusiasts that love it, and they got their Half-Life Alyx, and they're great and wonderful, but it's not for me.
Hobby grade trash.
Yeah,
So
it's just
do you like it then?
Tell
or-
us what you really think.
I
Jeez.
actually did the PlayStation VR once. I
Okay.
Yeah.
played the FPS space shooter thing, and it was interesting. It's great. I mean,
Mm.
it's a party game. It's like you go and you play, and you're like, this is cool. I like this, but I'm not going to spend the money on it. You know, I've already spent over 2,000 on my PC. I don't need to go spend another 500 on a headset that might make me dizzy. You know, with how many games? Not very many. So that's what gets me. I think that's where I get bitter is the support. Like there's
Yeah,
not
why are you
that
so
many.
bitter about it?
I'm hateful. I don't know.
But here's the thing, though. Like even like Half-Life Alex, I have not played it. I don't have any PC-based VR. I know that that's like top of the line in terms of VR tech is on PC. But I had just heard amazing things about Half-Life Alex, and
Yeah.
VR. I mean, they always say it, and they said it kind of as a caveat a lot for the PSVR too. But it's hard to really explain it. It's hard to even show it unless you're doing it. But even with Half-Life Alex, I'm like, just because I know I've tried VR and I'm like, God damn, I can only imagine how good that looks. And
Yeah.
the controllers with that headset specifically is like, I don't know. Have you played Half-Life Alex, Greg?
No, I've only got a PSVR.
It's like 4K or like 120 refresh rate. Until you see it, you can't really appreciate it, and it doesn't translate to whatever you're viewing on because it can't handle it. So
Yeah.
I will say the one nice thing I'll ever say about a Half-Life thing is Alex Half-Life
Yeah.
Alex.
Why do you hate Half-Life?
It looked better than just a tech demo.
Yeah.
Most VR games look like some kind of like thrill ride tech demo. It's like, oh, okay, so it's a gallery shooter. Great. Okay. What else can it do? So
I will just, I guess, be the lone defender of VR on this podcast.
No, I definitely have enjoyed what I've done. I think kind of the biggest thing that bothers me just is the screen resolution on the PSVR.
Mhm,
Like I kind of feel like that's where I keep hitting.
Yeah.
It's
No, there's a ceiling
like,
on it.
okay. It's like, okay, I see this. It works. It's good. I just kind of want a better screen.
did you play that Star
But-
Wars Squadrons in VR?
No, I
not
played
yet.
the
I haven't.
Battlefront X-Wing
yeah.
mission in VR. That was awesome.
Dope as hell, dude. Oh,
Yeah, I
that
enjoyed that.
dope as hell. I haven't actually played Squadrons yet on VR. I haven't. I'm going to.
I've heard good things.
Yeah, me too. I've actually heard from people that that's like the best way to play the game, which sort of surprises me.
Yeah, they say you're a lot better at it. You can aim a lot better.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, especially with games like that, where obviously like the interface of the game is pretty favorable to a VR setup because you're stationary, you're in the cockpit like that. It's everybody's dream to kind of have that, and you still get that sense of movement.
Mhm.
VR, I think, is harder to translate with other things, and obviously with a lot of VR titles, you can tell that they're creatively trying to figure out ways in which they can design a game and kind of have VR implemented, in a way that I don't know makes sense for the gameplay itself. Two games that have really stood out to me. I haven't played the entirety of either of them, but Astrobot. I know you love that game, Devon, but
Dude, how?
Astrobot-
People would not stop just waxing poetic for that game. How have you not
dude,
platinum that and then printed that out with your 3D printer?
no, I know. Well, I have a backlog.
Next to one of your
and
dollies.
It's a shame. I have a shameful backlog, and the more people
Oh.
hear the podcast, I will be less and less respected because my shame backlog list is undeniably massive. But Astrobot, like honestly, I haven't had a lot of moments this generation where I have like been kind of stunned by something, and I don't. It's not always necessarily a technological achievement moment where I have those, I don't know, epiphanies. Like I had that epiphany with like Mario 64 when I play it and it's clear, like, damn, this is going to define gaming. I even thought that as a kid as I played it. I was like, wow, this is like a moment. This is completely different. This is undeniably and unequivocally different than any video game I've ever played. I didn't have that degree of epiphany with Astrobot, but I felt like as I was playing, I was like, damn, VR in 10 years, if it keeps being developed and iterated, this is like amazing, and you have this sense of I know it sounds so cliche, but like you have this sense of immersion and presence in the game, and it's like it's mind by it's so amazing, and the game itself. I mean, if you watched it like on YouTube or something, you'd be like, okay, this is a pretty standard off the shelf like platformer. Yeah, it's pretty, it's fine, but you don't really get this sense of you don't really get the sense of presence that you get when you put on the PSVR headset. And again, it's not the best VR headset ever made. It's pretty, basic bitch in terms of technology, but like I think Sony like it really has supported it pretty well for what it is. I mean,
yeah, I'm very impressed with how
persistent.
much support they've given it.
Have we heard anything about the P5 VSR, PSVR 5?
Oh yeah, Demon Souls 5 will launch on it. No, actually, it's a
Or
good.
is that going to be
little-
another like no one's talking about it, no one, and then just one day they're going to just be like, "Here's our PSVR 5 blowout special." Woo!
That's a really good question. I definitely think I don't. What do you think, Greg? What do you? How do you think they're gonna? Is it gonna happen?
It's very interesting because they have not backed off on support. So I feel like at this moment I could say they're absolutely working on a new one. Whether or not it comes out, that's a good question.
You think it's just a better display?
I think that's a big part of it. I would hope they're trying to figure out a way to make it wireless.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, that's why I don't think we'll ever see VR on Xboxes. Phil said until it's easy to do, we're not even going to bother.
Yeah.
Quitters.
Oh, yeah, okay. Hey, we saved GameStop for you. So next time you go in to buy your doll collection, you thank your GameStop rep and say hi to Phil for me.
Thank you, Phil.
Yeah,
I love my dollies.
Big Daddy Phil's here for you.
No, I
welcome.
honestly, yeah, thanks, Phil. Thank you for GameStop and my dollies. I appreciate that. I actually think that like I've been pleasantly surprised by how persistent Sony's been with support on the VR, and I kind of early days when like something launches and a company shows a lot of support, and then after 6 months, 12 months, it's not like catching complete fire. You're kind of like expecting it to sort of dwindle, but they just kind of have been persistently giving a drip feed of games, and games like Star Wars Squadrons is like an awesome service to the VR, but I just think Sony deserves a lot of credit because they could have easily either not done it or completely just caved on it and left it in the dirt. I definitely think we'll see a PSVR 2. I have a feeling that it's not going to be that much of an upgrade, but like you said, Greg, all I really need is better resolution. Even if it was nothing but that, I would be okay with it, but I don't know. Go ahead.
Did you ever play Super Hot?
Did not play Super Hot. Actually, no, I have not played Super Hot.
That's the one that got me. Like all the other ones was like, this
really
is cool. Okay, but like that game like sucked me in. I played it for hours, and like being able to like toss stuff from one hand to another and catch it, like
yeah, right.
That's like the most in it I've felt for sure.
Yeah, that game did look cool. There was
I haven't got back to it a ton because I kind of gotta like rearrange my whole play area and stuff.
Ass, dude. I find when I actually plug in my PSVR, it stays plugged in for like weeks because I'm just don't want the hassle of messing around with it. It's definitely got a lot of Frankenstein elements to it, but
yeah, mine's got a lot of dust on it. I to be honest, couldn't tell you the last time I used it, but
yeah,
I really should. I really should try some new stuff out.
I want to play Super Hypercube too. Okay, we'll stop talking about VR now, but I think VR is really, really damn cool, and I think the lineup.
Have you looked at much of the Oculus Quest 2?
Not a ton.
Yeah, I think that's the way to go. Like an all-in-one device that you're not tethered to stuff. Like I feel like that's.
How about Labo? Who's got a Labo?
I don't have Labo, but I want one or a few kits. We're talking about the cardboard boxes, right?
Yeah, you slide your PSVR in.
To be
Your PS,
your Switch.
your
Jeez,
Switch. I'm sorry.
Freudian slip. No, have you messed with Labo? I actually, no bullshit. I think Labo looks cool. I would totally mess with it.
No. When it gets cheaper, maybe, because
Cheaper.
it's expensive for cardboard. Are you kidding me?
Oh, I've seen it for pretty dang
Yeah.
cheap recently. I feel like.
Well, now that I'm
The
starting to spend
blowout.
money on Nintendo again, like maybe we'll see.
Oh my heavens! You know what I just realized,
Like
guys?
that,
I'm a terrible host. We haven't talked about what we're playing. You were just.
buddy.
I guess we could go all the way back to the beginning
man.
of the episode.
When we wrap up, we can end on it. I
Okay,
guess.
yeah. Sorry.
Yeah, I'll just edit this part into the beginning,
can you
and
just
it'll be
copy off that thing?
seamless.
Why do they sound so tired?
All right. Well, VR. What a great foray into the third dimension it's been.
Yeah.
I wanted to talk a second. One of the topics of conversation, and we'll see where it goes with this. I want to talk about console launches because I was kind of thinking about this. I don't know if you guys have seen like pre-order stats. There have been some outlets that have been tracking like how many people are pre-ordering what console and blah blah blah. It kind of got me to thinking, like how much how much launches actually matter in terms of like at the end of the console cycle. Does it really matter how a console launches?
I mean, the further we get into social media, people will try to make you believe that it matters, but
Yeah, right.
I will say I'll keep it pretty high level or low level. I don't know. I'll keep it pretty broad. Console launch is like a celebration of what's to come. You
Mhm.
know, it's when all eyes are on this thing. People have all these high expectations. They get that box. Y'all see that Burger King pictures of that lady walking out with that huge ass box with the PS5?
I think that box is actually smaller than it's going to be in real life.
That woman was 6'5", 220. Just to give you perspective on how big that box was. Holy
Okay, now it
cow.
fits.
I seriously think that the PS5 box is going to be like Titanfall Collector's Edition big. You know,
Oh my
like,
God.
get this thing in my trunk or whatever.
Because Sony talked about how they have like how many B-52s waiting on standby to ship them overseas or whatever. It's like you fit 3 on an airplane. Like, of course you're gonna need 150 of them.
The size of the PS5.
All right, let's write it in. I think it absolutely matters because it's a celebration. It's a big to do. It's great for all the internal teams. Especially now with how hard it is to ship anything. With the state of the world and just technology as it is, like you thought by now Moore's law would be making these things harder to be impressive, harder to double your efforts, and it's not. Like PS5 is a beast, Xbox Series X is a beast, and it's great. It's great. Like I'm excited for technology. Like I feel like launch window is a celebration of technology, not launch games, because you always look back on launch games and
cringe.
One, maybe two of them were actually good. The rest are just crap, tech demos. So
there's something magical about launch games. I don't know what it is. It's kind of like when you eat pizza that's not great. You're like, I like pizza, and this is pizza, and I'm eating pizza right now, so I'm happy. But you know that it's not good pizza.
But hey, it was like a pesto artichoke buffalo sauce pizza that it sounds weird, and you're glad it exists, but 5 years into the gen, it's not going to be green lit.
It tastes great.
Killzone Shadowfall is absolutely okay pizza.
Yeah. Pretty pizza.
Yeah, it's the most okayest.
Yeah,
it's the Little Caesars of video games.
It's the N-Gage.
Man, I tried. I really tried when I got my PS4 to play that game, and I just couldn't.
It's a completely fine launch game.
Yeah. It is inoffensive in every way, just not amazing.
See, to me, it was a solid tech demo for the PS4, though.
Yeah,
it was.
I was very impressed with how it looked.
I was excited.
That's the first thing I booted up. bringing that console
Oh,
home.
totally.
And,
Yeah, same here.
and a friend of mine and I were just like, "Whoa, look at this part!"
Yeah,
Look at that.
I was
Like,
freaking
it
out.
looked
I was really
amazing.
happy. And I had like one of those moments too, like I can't be excited to play not this game, but looking like this game. Yeah, yeah. It's funny because I look back on the Xbox One and PS4 launch, like I was really really hyped going into that. Um, I actually think if you put it down on paper, that Xbox One may have had a better launch in terms of software, maybe because of Forza. Forza was really damn good.
Yeah. Yep.
Right.
And
Man,
Dead-
remind me again what the hell came out for Xbox One.
Rising,
DRM, done.
Sorry.
Rising.
Dead Rising 3. I was
Dead
trying to say Rise and Dead Rising at the same time.
Was Rise
There you
also
go.
launch?
Yep.
Yeah.
Well,
Was
it had
it?
a day one. It had a day one edition, so the
Okay,
shiny
yeah.
gold cover. That was a launch. Let's see what else. The sports games you had. I had to look at my stack.
What
of
was
games. I can't see.
exclusive on it is what I'm trying to remember. Forza, Rise,
Forza, Rise, Dead Rising.
Dead Rising.
I'm gonna say Sunset Overdrive because that was a launch window.
It was
That was
not even
a
launch
year
window,
later.
dude. Yeah,
It was
I
started
actually
launch
meant to
window.
roast
It was
you on that.
October the next
A
year.
Oh my god.
Like September or October.
Yeah, we're gonna have to learn how to read calendar. Sonic Boom. Okay. Yeah, and I'm trying to remember what PS4 Resogun was dope. I still think that was the best launch game actually. Killzone Shadowfall. Knack. How could we forget Knack? Anyway, part of the reason I was thinking about it was like, okay, I think that Series X, the series is obviously Halo slipped out of the launch window, and that's a bummer. But like, is the launch of the console really going to matter in the grand scheme of things? In other words, if it, let's just say it launches to lukewarm sales, do you think that they could, once they start getting their like treadmill of exclusives, which I think is definitely coming, do you think like, let's say that happens a year, 2 years down the road, do you think it's salvageable if they had like a really bad launch, for example?
I think the buzz is more important than the actual sales. Because, like, man, I feel like 3 years after Xbox One came out, you'd still hear people say, like, oh, yeah, it's too bad you can't play used games on those. Like,
Right.
Oh, dude,
it just still had just, like,
3 years is being generous.
yeah, like, it lasted so long. Like, it was such a negative buzz
Yeah.
about it. But,
Right.
There's people
And-
that today that still think that. Like,
yeah,
if anyone's ever
absolutely.
worked retail, especially in the used game market, you will know how do I put this, simple-minded most consumers are.
Yeah.
So there's
They
some
heard it.
credence to the whole Xbox Series X. I'm confused by that name, but at the same time, like, are you expecting people to open up your PS5 and put an M.2 drive in there? Like, I don't know. People are kind of dumb. But yeah, like the whole you can't share games, you have to be always online. That's stuck. Like,
Yeah.
you could have
For a long
stamped
time.
that on the front of the console. It's still stuck, you know. And I think they're finally starting to shake that off. Like, the One X was like a good rebrand to like kind of get away from that,
Mm-hmm.
which I wish they would have dropped the One name to just shake that off.
Yeah.
But yeah, Series X is kind of like a rebrand, like a let's try that again approach. Because they just made a box that plays video games.
That's a really good point too that you made, Greg. Like early days, and even as you're describing it with the Xbox One, narrative is so important. It's almost as important as software. And like,
Yeah.
I really feel like even the run up to this launch, Microsoft has been working on narrative and controlling it, and like just be in control of what the damn narrative is, you know. And kind of they've been more or less calling the shots and defining what the pace is in terms of like news that's released and everything. So I don't know. It's
That's night and day. I mean, the communication 7 years ago was abysmal. I mean, the whole back and forth on being online and
oh man, that was
and games that can play used. It was a nightmare. It was a train wreck.
Yeah.
But
Their story was all over the place those first few days.
Marketing it's in a good spot now for Xbox, whereas PlayStation, I wouldn't say it's bad. It's just bad timing. It's a little cumbersome, which we're not used to with PlayStation.
I don't know. I don't know if it matters right now for them. I mean, like every
Oh,
time
really?
they launch any sort of media or post or video, they have so much attention right now is the thing.
Yeah.
It's almost like they're withholding their hand so much that it's annoying. But every time freaking the king at Burger King could open a bag of freaking hamburgers and
Oh my
roll.
God, you were losing. You were like, oh, praise the king.
We can't give him too much crap though, because he was right.
Yeah, look where we are.
Fun fact: the king was usually played by a woman.
Really?
Just like- yeah.
And he used to be on Team Xbox too.
Yeah, Sneak Kings. Oh
I'm
man,
home to the good side.
that was a technological achievement to get that to run on an Xbox OG and a 360.
Did they have
Oh, I
another good
forgot that was
title?
on both.
Yeah,
They had Big Bumpin' too.
Big Bumpin', Sneak
Big
Kings,
Bumpin'.
and what was the third
What was
one?
the other one? Oh man,
It was like a
I should know this.
motorcycles.
Brooke. What the hell is it called?
Okay, somebody look this up. We need to.
God. But
This
yeah,
is-
that would play in both systems. Like that was crazy. That would do that.
I'm having an old man yells at cloud moment because I can't think of the name of this game.
I know. We're gonna look it up.
Is it like something pocket?
Yes, it is something pocket. All right,
Pocket race.
Pocket
Sneak
Racer.
King,
Pocket bike racer.
Pocket
Okay, I
bike.
got it
There
here.
we go. And Big Bumpin'. Okay, there
Oh,
we go.
man, I can sleep
Yeah.
tonight. Thank God for that.
Ooh,
Yeah.
tangent of a tangent. What were we saying?
I had another forceps moment, boys.
Yeah, but yeah, like you were saying, like Sony's just they're the market leader, so they don't have to try.
Yeah, they don't.
They
That's
don't have to
I mean,
do
and
anything outlandish.
I mean,
And-
I think they're playing pretty conservative, and I don't think that they're doing anything wrong. They have
No, it's just
I think they're doing what they always do, and it just looks so different compared to Xbox, who's
yeah.
really changed it up.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
agree.
Yeah, I think it's when you're like looking at it compared to hindsight and what the competition's doing, it looks bad. But if you were to just focus on the PlayStation itself, like we talked about last week, it's no different than how they did it with the 4. You know, they're taking their time, they're releasing stuff out here and there, and
I'm gonna be really interested to see the like the side by side comparisons with these things when they actually get cross platform games running on each. I'm gonna be really interested to see that because
yeah,
I don't
when
know.
I see like Digital Foundry put up Doom on both systems and can play them both and see how long it takes and how well they look, then that's when you can start putting on your troll hats and your tinfoil hats and your detective hats and start going away with it.
Oh man, I just had a flashback to like the few weeks going up to last gen launch, like
Call of Duty.
all the resolution talk, everyone talking about
I do remember
900p.
totally. I do remember that too. I remember Call of Duty Ghosts being like one of the first things we saw on both consoles side by side.
Yeah,
It was even
It was
then
something.
like, it was like really almost indistinguishable, to be honest. But man, it sure did kick up a lot of dirt online. So I can only
Yeah.
imagine with this
Well,
generation.
the hard part is it ran at 60. When a game runs at high refresh rate, it's hard to tell the differences in resolution. So that had it going for it. But
So what do you guys think? How are cross-platform games going to look when these things are in homes? When it's in the digital foundries and they're actually clocking these things? Do you think the
I
gap
think they're going to look
huge?
very similar.
yeah, I mean, we had Fallout 4 running in 60 frames.
Yeah,
So, of course, Doom, as we brought up numerous times, because that game with no enhancement, not even being touched, just it runs amazing. I mean, you have Linus from Linus Tech Tips out there saying that it looks as good as a PC and launches quicker than any PC he's ever run. So that's pretty big for a guy that doesn't touch console to have him boast about it.
This is one thing I think that like is gonna get lost in the conversation immediately. I was thinking about it this week too when I think they lifted embargo, at least to some degree on Yakuza and Dirt 5. And, a lot of people are just kind of being trolls about, oh, these games don't look next gen. This is the most powerful console, blah, blah, blah. Well, I honestly think a lot of times the way a game runs, plays, performs, all these things, it a lot of times has a lot more to say about the game than it does about the console. And I think that's certainly the case
Oh, yeah.
with Yakuza. Like, the engine is aren't they using an engine that's like 4, 5, 6, 7 years old or something?
It's a more recent one than some of them, but yeah, I mean that game came out on PS4 in Japan like
Yeah, that's right.
last year, maybe earlier.
Yeah.
And Dirt
So I mean, it's not a brand new game.
and the Dirt 5 that they were playing wasn't optimized yet. That was just beta, pretty much.
Early build.
Yeah, early build.
Yeah,
So-
I heard people just dogging on Dirt. I'm like, you guys are stupid.
Yeah, it's
It
people
looked
being
great.
bitter and ugly. Don't be a better human. Come on, this world's messed up. You don't need that.
I mean, they're watching YouTube videos. Too. Like,
Yeah,
I
right.
mean, it's all compressed. They probably got it
Yeah.
You're
240p or something.
on your cracked cell phone screen.
Yeah.
So, yeah, and even things like the SSD, I think that people are going to immediately go to that, especially with the PS5, because they've been really, really selling that SSD speed thing. That's not going to just be across the board, everything's faster necessarily, And the SSD doesn't always just leverage like boot speed or load speed and stuff like that. Like I don't know. I think a lot of technology with both of these things is nuanced, and it really depends on what it's running and who developed it and, how they're using it. So it's never as simple as the fanboys want to believe.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
And some games you won't see any kind of enhancement just because of it being frame locked or locked behind some kind of antiquated CPU bottleneck. That's what happened with Destiny. Destiny never ran above 30 frames because it was stuck to old tech. So even today, it's still at 30. Is it 4K? Yeah, but until the new systems come out, it's not going to run it until it's not going to run at 60 frames until then.
I might even have to look at Destiny 2 for a minute. 4K 60 Destiny 2 is probably going to look pretty.
That is such a bummer that it's not launch day. That's like a month out. That it's not ready for the new expansion.
Well, we'll be playing Demon Souls 5 by that
That's
time.
true.
How long we've been riffing a good amount of time, eh? Because I have one other topic, but maybe we should cap it there. What do you think?
Yeah, let's talk about our games that we've been playing.
Oh yeah, that's
Our
true.
soft outro.
Well, tee it up, Sonic Boom. What you been playing?
All right. So as many of you travelers heard in my intro, I have been playing some Genshin Impact.
Oh yeah, I saw you playing that today.
Which,
What
yeah,
is that game about? I honestly don't know anything about Genshin Impact. I just know that it's gotten Twitter fire.
Yeah, everyone's. I mean, we're probably late to the party. At least I am. It's the new hotness. It's a JRPG that is a gacha game. Which, for those that don't know, like you have random rolls. So you buy a thing and you get to unlock either weapons or characters. That's how that's kind of your big to do. Which I think calling it a gacha game, which I'm not a big gacha game person, does it a disservice because nowhere are you like pushed to buy the currency. You're not like constantly reminded about it. Like this game, I've put almost 30 hours into it and not spent a dime on it. And when people say, oh, it's very Breath of the Wild-esque, yeah, it's heavily influenced, but
heavily.
Yeah, it's a big open world RPG with lots of simple mechanics, but lots of currencies. And as you progress through the world and the story, you get to unlock new things. Like until your venture level, not your character level, your adventure level, doesn't unlock things like you can't make a wish. A wish is your random roll to get either a weapon or a new character. And as you progress, more and more things open up to you, more areas. It's Like, I've never been enthralled with a game like this for a really long time. So
Cool.
if you like Breath of the Wild, take a look at it because I haven't spent a dime on it. Like I think calling it a gacha game is kind of doing a disservice. Saying it's Breath of the Wild almost does it a disservice because it's, it's a JRPG that has a pretty standard story, but there's so much to do, so much to discover. The world is so big, and it's free. So
That is pretty impressive. What platforms is PC, PS4, Xbox? Is it on everything, or is it?
it's not on Xbox, but it's on PC. It's on Android, which is crossplay, and iOS, and then PS4. I don't know why I haven't looked into it, but PS4 is its own thing. Like you can't cross save with it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Why am I not
But,
surprised?
Yeah.
It's supposed to be coming to Switch eventually too.
Oh, cool. It's cool.
But yeah, it's like I like if you know me, I don't RPG, I don't gotcha, I don't anime, any of that.
Yeah, this
stuff.
is not a game I would have.
This
pegged
is
you for.
not a me game at
This
all.
sounds like about as far away from you as I can imagine.
But I'm going to gush about this game until the cows come home.
I'm gonna
Like the problem is I did this thing where all right, how do you play this game? Had some fun. Then I went and looked up YouTube videos. I'm like, oh, okay, that's what I have to do. So I restarted an account like 4 or 5 times to get the good characters.
You are freaking out with this game.
Yeah. Well, like up front they give you, and because it's like 1.0, so they're just giving out wishes, which is your role. Think of like FIFA packs or card packs from Madden, or it's a microtransaction.
Sure.
Which the microtransactions are kind of expensive if you want the gems or the horseshoes or the balloons, golden rainbows. Wait, what are they? Anyway, so there's a
Lucky Charms.
There's a ton of currencies. I mean, if you're into gacha games and RPGs, it's probably nothing. But those are kind of expensive. There's a battle pass, which isn't too bad, and then there's some other things that get you in-game stuff, but it's not intrusive. Like it's not in your face. It's not constantly barking at you. Like you could play this whole game and never spend a dime, no problem.
Interesting. Well, there you go. First step, Genshin Impact. Second step, anime. You're on the right track.
Yep. I'll be watching One Piece next week. I'll report back.
Awesome. We'll take recommendations from our wide audience about what you should start with on your anime expedition. Yet to be determined. Well, Greg, what are you playing, my dude?
This week has been a lot of Ghost of Tsushima.
There you go.
Dove back into that full force, and I'm pretty close to the end. I feel like
Wow, you have made progress.
Yeah. I don't have much of the map left. The next story mission sure sounds pretty final. I don't know how much further it'll go, but man, that game just gets better and better. Like there's some more mechanics they introduced later that make it really fun. It really changed up how I play.
Yeah, I was surprised, and I'm still super early, but that was specifically what you just touched on, what had been surprising me already, which is how many mechanics they introduce as the thing is well into the story.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, wow, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, you still have several to go. I feel like they're like big things. It's like, but yeah, it's great. That's kind of been mostly it. I played a disgusting amount of it over this
You're
weekend.
posting your screenshots on the Twitters.
Yeah. Such a looker of a game.
Best photo mode I think I've ever played, touched in a game is that game.
Genshin Impact has a photo mode.
Oh.
Ooh. Why haven't we been seeing your screenshots?
I wanted to keep it a secret.
Okay.
Although freaking Xbox Media has been giving me away. I had coworkers ask me, Genshin Impact, huh? I'm like, how did you... Oh, that's right. Thanks, Xbox.
Man,
I never noticed. Huh?
They be
bad at snooping.
Boy.
Yeah, they're snitches. One thing I will say that's bad, like I will highly recommend, tell people they need to try this game if you like Breath of the Wild in any shape, way, or form, because it's great. But you can't pet the dogs or the cats.
Oh,
let me tell you, that really makes me sad.
Well, it got real intense, and that's all the Genshin Impact I can handle now. I'm just gonna
There's cooking. You can cook.
Oh my!
You can cook in this game.
Okay, give us your cooking update next week on
I
episode.
mean, the jingle isn't as good as Breath of the Wild, which nothing ever is, but
It's hard to beat.
yeah, I mean, you can't. I wouldn't
I
even
just
try
love
that.
when you throw together like a crap dish. You got like pots and pans breaking and whatnot.
Does the food look as good as Monster Hunter's food?
Sure. I played a lot of the Monster Hunters. Monster
Oh,
Hunters.
okay.
Monster Hunter
Good looking food made by cats.
made by.
Can you
Yeah.
can you pet the cats?
You know, it has been a while since I played. Surely.
You can put a cat in a
Sure.
backpack in Miles Morales. That's what I do know.
Yes. I did see Spider Cat.
For $70, you can put a cat in a bag.
Yeah, and play a fantastic launch game. By the way, game that makes me hungry, Dragon's Crown has delicious cooking in it. Anyone? No?
Yeah.
Go back to it and tell me that.
Anything Vanillaware makes.
Here you go.
My goodness.
Speaking of Vanillaware, I've got Aegis Rim 3rd,
Oh.
like just
nice.
sitting on my shelf, being neglected and crying into the heavens. By the way, Greg, we should do some Ghost of Tsushima this weekend if you want.
Yes.
Let me know.
Yes. That's my goodness. That's tomorrow, isn't it?
Yep.
That update.
Damn straight. And how much is it? For
It's free.
free.
Yeah.
Damn. Good
What?
stuff. Ghost of Tsushima. It'll be back in our conversation when we're talking about Game of the Year later. So put a bookmark in it and you can talk about
It's high up on my list, that's for sure.
I'll be interested to see how that debate shakes out. Okay, I'm gonna get off the mic. I have been playing a little tiny bit of Tony Hawk and I'm still awful. It's really discouraging, but I love the music. Otherwise, God, I've been so busy with work I've hardly touched games. But I'm gonna play Ghost of Tsushima this weekend with my homeboy, Human Platinum. So alright, dudes, plug yourselves. Where can we find you on the Twitters?
I am at the Pie Piper.
Awesome.
Like the pie.
Like
you eat the pie. Like you eat it.
Greg?
I'm at Jethrin, Jetthrin.
Best follow on Twitter. And I am at the circle button. And that is episode 3. That's a wrap on episode 3 for cross-platform chat. Why can I never say that?
Crocs platform chat.
Every single week we have a different name. Cross-plat chat, episode 3. Deuces.
Birds, I hate them. Don't buy a bird. They're evil. They're jerks.
That thing looks like a Muppet, man. That picture of that bird looks like a Muppet.
What, Big Bird? You sent me a picture of Big Bird busting through the door?
Oh, I was talking about that is pretty. You just sent pictures of Genshin Impact. My God, that does look good. I take back everything I said. I take back everything I said. You homeboys ready?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Take one more gander at my notes here.
I'm going to put this on a different table, so... I hit the mic like 10 times last week trying to grab my drink. So like, here, let me put it under and behind my arm. My boom arm.
Is that when you play guitar? Did you hear that on the...
Yeah, there's a couple of those I
I
took
remember
out.
hearing it once.
Dang it. I kind of like it in there. It's just unexpected.
The bump of the...
Good Lord. Mine does that.
It is like pitch perfect the first note in Seven Nation Army. Like exactly.
There we go. I'm one note towards my James Bond theme.
All right. Let's do this thing.